We are back again to enjoy some early meta madness. Early meta madness, that's what we call it up here. I want to thank everybody for yesterday's video did well within the range of the videos that I've been putting out lately. I've noticed a lot more engagement, getting a lot of DMs from people who've been being helped by the community posts. So all that stuff is having some effect, which is good. I want to thank everybody who remembers to leave a like. It's been causing the channel to grow, and people who need this information, who's out there struggling to figure out what the hell am I doing wrong, you're able to get the information they need. So appreciate y'all for taking a second to do that. Anyway, let's get into the battle. There's a lot of mods on here I haven't used in quite some time, which is really half the team. Two, I guess I've used Overpower Water recently, so these two. The boosterers. This can go a million different ways based on sets and terras. So I'm excited to see what's finna pop off. I have this unique Tusk. Seems like D-Knight is the most reliable win condiciones. This can be useful if the Dragon Knight is well checked. I'm actually gonna play this, so I'm gonna play this towards Dragon Knight, but I have the strange I like that the guy led something other than Glamora, because typically people just mindlessly click a lead, right, without much thought. Gambit is nice, but not that important as far as, like, you know, anticipating you actually didn't expect Shadow Ball. So this is wondrous, right? I could see a case for it being Focus Blast. If he hits the Focus Blast, he's finished. I mean, if he misses the Focus Blast, he's finished. It's likely going to go to Glamora, right? And what this does is it forces him to go for the hazard. So what I'm thinking here is I could go, oh no, Tusk doesn't not Tusk survives, but Tusk doesn't help. I could also Iron Moth directly here, which would give me a free booster because I could Fiery Dance, and then it'd likely lose 2 beasts. Because he's just gonna rocks here. So what I'm debating is what's stopping my D-Knight, you know? The balloon on the Golden does matter. But it's unlikely he's gonna be able to keep that because he has to go to the Golden on my Tusk. And the Gambit, depending on the Terra type, can smack you, right? And so that's something he has to be concerned about. Even if you were to go to Moth, which I think is the most probable, you still have Dragon Knight to contend with. And this is where the balloon being on him is going to be a pain in the ass. So Oster Gambit, which is obviously, what's it called? Low kick. Which is risky because I could be low kick too. So this is where we're going to take that Goldengo's item for the long term. So we're going to go Tusk here. We're not going to be able to keep the sash. Right, you Scream low kick, which allows for me to stealth rock into Ice Spinner to remove the Goldengo's item. I could Ice Spinner directly, but I lose too much value if the opponent chooses to Terra for some reason as a solution. Though if you Terra, it'd be likely into so actually Oster Valiant, which is somewhat surprising considering I could have Rapid Spun, and you give up your booster to give my Iron Moth a free switch. So I'm gonna just Headlong Rush. That's what I mean. So what's interesting is that the Valiant could be, I've not seen any mixed Valiants. If it has Psyshock, my Moth probably dies. And I wouldn't want to just give my Moth up like that. Obviously I could Terra, but I don't think that's the best solution. It would get rid of the toxic spikes. But as I said, my gambit isn't as important. And I guess it could be mixed CC, but yeah, it's not. So I'm more than happy to take that trade. I am more than happy to take that trade, as we're probably going to go both moths. So I can't risk the T-spikes remaining up any longer because of my Valiant and my Ogre Pawn. My Dragonite has Ice Spinner, which would make things a bit trickier for the opponent. This is good and not at the same time. Well, let me think this through. Because my Valiant can't beat his Gambit. Well, maybe, because it's low kick, so it probably can't touch fairy types. So I probably can do a KO that. This is going to be key in the end game, especially because I haven't terrored yet. So what I end up doing is going for the most damage possible with the Sludge Wave. I end up getting a crit and a poison, which is really shit. Like, the likelihood of getting both of those is really, really shitty for my opponent. Like, really shitty. So I'm even, hell, the Golden still has its item, so that won't even work. I'll die here to extreme speed. Oh, I actually don't even die, which makes it even worse. Yeah, that's a really shitty crit poison. Undeserved, but you know, I can't control that aspect. Really critical. Really critical. That changed a lot of how this sequence would have gone and given me a lot of leeway that I shouldn't have. Moth should be gone and Dragonite should be alive, where it'd be forced to give up my multi-scale. Now my Moth is alive, which forces his Gambit to potentially come in and have to sucker punch. You know, things like that just didn't need to happen. Yeah. So yeah, this puts him in a precarious position. The issue is that his Dragonite, this Goldengo still has its balloon, which puts my Dragonite in a spot. Though I have Ice Spinner that can touch him, so it's not the end of the world. So what we're gonna end up doing is Fire Dancing straight up. He should Sucker Punch, right? And we're gonna bluff the CC on the Valiante. I could also bluff that I have Encore, because he used Sucker Punch, so one would assume, all right, the opponent would just Encore. He has low kick, so it's very unlikely he has. It's very unlikely that he has Iron Head anyway. Katao is usually the other move. This allows us to Side Shock. I probably could have Calm Mind there, because if E-Speed didn't kill, I doubt Side Shock's gonna kill. Obviously could Terra and Calm Mind, but because of his Gambit's typing, I actually did not expect Moth. Maybe it was better to see him, but if he had Iron Head now, this was the best high value play. It's gonna be close still, because he's keeping his Terra tucked. The Gambit is leftovers. He likely anticipated, as I said, so his Terra goes. So I forced the Terra, that is so lame. That is so whack, especially because I don't need the hacks. So lame, so lame. So now the fact that I forced the Terra puts him in a really bad spot. It's as if the game's like, yo, Jam, for all the bullshit you've been through, we're gonna reward you. We're gonna reward you with this young hacks right here. Now, my best bet here is to Ogre Pawn Wellspring. Because he's gonna have to Shadow Ball. Actually, don't need the Terra. I probably should have Terra'd here, so I'll take little damage. Actually, if he did 31, if I Terra and sub, I'm pretty sure the sub takes the hit. I really need it to take the hit, because if it doesn't and I'm revealed that I have Substitute, the Gambit's gonna sucker. It's not gonna sucker, and it puts me in a situation where I could lose, but I guess technically not, because Dragonite should 2 KO and Katao into sucker shouldn't kill me, but I could be wrong about that. So I mean, -1 if they did 31%, because a sub guarantee wins me the game, whereas not showing the sub I'll see. I'll see the roll. If it breaks the sub, it breaks the sub, so be it. Yeah, I didn't think so. And now it's game. Lame look. GG. But yeah, it's one of them whack games that get ruined by RNG. I mean, we've lost 100 million games to shit like that, but I don't want it for myself, right? But it happens, right? It's gonna go both ways sometimes. But yeah, anyway, moving on. Another offense is just all over. I don't think it's a byproduct of offense just being superior. I do think it's just because people are enjoying the new toys. So Moth, very dangerous, but he has a extreme speeding Dragonite, which could pose a problem. The Grimmsnarl could have like Thunderbolt or something, Thunder Wave, which would put my Valiant in the dirt. Plus I would never use my booster this early. The Garchomps probably lead rocks, things of that nature. It's actually not a great situation for me, because there's no way for me to stop his screens. Okay, I have to go for broke early. Did not expect Enamorous. First power specs would kill me, nothing else would kill me. Would he give up the Enamorous? I'm gonna go Ogerpon because it's the lowest value member. So he this is phenomenal because it allows me to Ivy Cudgel. I have to eat a Moonblast. He actually super powered. So he's giving up the Enamorous because he's gonna stay in again. Super power is not something I expected. I get a crit there. Dang, today is like everything's coming back full circle. The amount of crits this shit has caught. Remember that one live a few days ago? This was just critting everything that I used. So Chop's an interesting one. I get the opportunity here to either force because like I said, this is low value, right? I get the opportunity to either force the rocks, say Scale Shot commits, which is fine by me. This is his only rocks option. Valiant, sure I lose the booster. Nah, that's a big deal, because that Zamazenta could be an issue later on. I do have Terra on the Moth as well. I think Terraing the Moth, giving up the Moth booster is superior to giving up the I could also Dragonite, probably knock him out. I doubt it though. I could also give up Tusk. Nah, positionally Moth is just superior, especially because I have the sub. It forces in D-Knight, which gives me the multi-scale, which opens him up with Tusk, right? I want to die to EQ here and trade for Moth. Moth is still amazing versus his team. So we're going to go hard Tusk here. Either Earthquake straight up or goes for Dragon Dance. This allows for me to Ice Spinner unless he forces in his. So it goes Zamazenta. This could go a couple different ways. This is an issue for me. It just depends on what his moveset is. If it's Terra, if it's like Stone Edge or something. Let me think. Thinking what the worst case scenarios would be. It being Iron Defensing and being Terra Fire, or having Stone Edge and knocking out my Moth. I don't even think Stone Edge would kill my Moth, truth be told. But I could go Valiant if he Terra Fires and Iron Defenses. I think if he's Terra Fire, I lose anyway. Honestly, I don't see how I'd beat that. So if that's the case, let's try for the poison. So he Heavy Slam straight up, which is a blessing for us. That's fucking amazing. Because now if he Terras or if he forces, I force him out with giving up the defense boost. That's amazing. So he has Heavy Slam, and he tried to catch my Valiant on the switch, which implies that he doesn't want smoke from my Valiant. I can't stop the screens, so what I'll do is go for the boost to try to negate them. Because he's going to get the reflect. I know Fire Dance isn't going to knock him out. Not this turn at least. And so ideally I can negate the boost with 2 boosts. We get 1. I'm grateful for the 1. As we force in Dragonite here, and this allows us to Sludge Wave as he gets the Earthquake off. So the Zamazenta does not want, so he's going to Dragon Dance now, but it's evident the Zamazenta does not want smoke from my my Moth. So he should Dragon Dance here, yeah. And this is excellent because it stalls out the turns. 3 turns of Light Screen. So I get to substitute here. He has Declaw. So he has 2 turns of Light Screen. Declaw could be an issue. I don't think it'll knock out my Tusk though. So allows us to Sludge Wave again. Ah, Jesus. That's game. Nah. It's Zenta. But he's terrored. No, he never terrored. He never terrored. But the fact that he was scared of my Valiant wanting to heavy slam it on switch does imply that he cannot beat it. Let's say he's Terra Steel. This is where I actually like having a decent Valiant. Terra Steel. Yeah, meaning a decent so he is heavy slam Terra Steel. And now he gets the opportunity to fuck me up. Just afraid there's nothing I can do. That's not true anymore. He might have just lost. Let me think. I'll Terra Steel here and spin outspeed. What could he I don't know what the Ogerpon might do, so what I'll do is just go hard Gambit. I'll Katao to sack the Gambit. If he goes for, because then I just D-dance with my D-Knight. Actually, I don't want this Zamazenta doubling back. So yeah, Stomping Tantrum, okay. So I just spin here. I Terra spin and the Headlong Rush does way more to the Zenta than the EQ. Right. Headlong Rush without a defense boost will hurt, and it forces him to attack me. Oh, that shit one shots. That's a fucking close combat. I don't know. I'm just used to Zamazenta taking every hit under the sun. But again, that crit on his Dragonite was big. It seems very volatile, as you see. The bulky. What was this first thing I was struggling with for the first guy? It does just struggle versus screens and what's it called? What was the first? Something happened in the first game. Opposing Dragonites for sure, because it can just E-speed spam. It can deal with them, but it also might not. And Encore on the Valiant twice would have been useful. It may be worth a shot, right? It might be worth a good looking at, if I'm honest with myself. So, but yeah, that's decent games thus far. It's super unusual to see me getting luck, isn't that interesting? But you know, that's the law of rhythm right there. What goes around must come back to balance itself. But bullshit aside, not really, but you know, me bullshitting aside, Dragon Dance Knight is lethal here. Moth is lethal here. Moth is really lethal here. Moth is really lethal here. Once I force a Terra, I do not want to be U-turned upon just to be phased out. Regarding the Dragapult. Ogerpon's really fucking good as well. Like really, really dangerous. Gambit's really good too. So phase 1, nobody ever leaves Gambit, but it's a unique case, right? Where, and we very well may see him go for Flamethrower here. It's improbable. It's very improbable. We may even see a Will-O-Wisp, but what I'll end up doing is just go for broke. Again, if I don't even know if Flamethrower could one-shot me. If it does, then I learned the lesson and move on for the next game. I'm not going to use the time to calc this. I already have a general game plan, even if Gambit were to go away, of how I intend to do this. And it's super high risk for him to risk his pull early, but you know, we know typically people don't weigh risk versus reward very well, because in order to do that, you need to have a long-term plan. And typically, like most players, just play from turn to turn. Right? I click this move, then figure out the thing next. Click the move, figure out the thing next. And so in this case, what we're looking at, I need to batter the Tinglu and force a Terra. And I cannot think of a conceivable way other than, you know, Sucker Punch Mind Games where he beats my Moth. If he can, then I'm about to learn how. Dragon Knight also maims him, but I need his Clefable weakened. I need to know if you're running Unaware or if Magic Guard more common, all that. Lastly, if the Dragapult were to die, then the Seos for Gambit, which is I'd assume maybe running the low kicks as well. If he's not low kick, then he's gonna switch. If he's not low kick, he may switch to Valiant to cover for his bases, which is gonna be a rough matchup for my Tusk. I'll have to decide whether it's more important to get the damage or the rocks. I'll likely take the damage, especially because that opens up my Gambit later on. So he does have low kick, so that's wondrous. That's wonderful, as allows for us to. Very tempting to headlong rush because it's very likely that I didn't expect Clef. I expected. So Gambits are running low kick now. That's useful. As I said, we need this damage. Even if you were to Moonblast, that's actually great. I figured that was improbable. But even if you were, that would have been wonderful, right? Because that opens up my Dragonite significantly. Especially if I Terra. I doubt it's Will-O-Wisp Pult, so I don't have to be concerned about that. Dragon Dance and blow the team away. I'm surprised this has rocks, so I'm wondering what the Tinglu is for. This is definitely a case for the Gambit to come in here. The issue is that I need to condition him to think that I'm going to leave the Tuscan. The reason that's important, if I go hard Gambit now, he's just going to switch back to his Gambit, right? And it won't give me as much mileage as I condition him to Moonblast, which opens up. I get rocks are up, which do matter. And I can't go Moth yet because Tinglu would just force me out. But let me think. Let's see. We need to position ourselves in a way where he won't switch. And my boosters are the only way he won't switch. I want to keep my D-Knights. If I go Gambit, he's just gonna go to Gambit. And I don't have a good, so there was a case for the for this. There's certainly a case for this. But I figured he would very likely hard switch to Tinglu, which is going to open up my. I didn't expect Ruination. I figured he'd hard switch to Tinglu, which opens up my Valiant and my Iron Moth, right? So he goes to Valiant, which is insane for a myriad of reasons. So he's switching around and taking a bunch of damage. I think E-Speed would kill him from here, but I don't want to Terra this. It's Terra Fairy Moth. I said it's looking sexy. Depends on a few things. Depends if he's physical. I actually didn't have booster. I'm tripping. Surprise specs. Okay, it's maybe scarfed, but he doesn't have booster, which is useful. Unfortunately, my Gambit is finished. But I need this sucker punch damage. It might be a roll. So much missing information. So much missing information. I don't want to go. I'm gonna take the sucker punch damage. So it isn't. So it's mixed, which is useful because the Polt can knock out my Dragonite because the Tinglu got the. So if I were to, let's find out, because I'm thinking here, Booster Moth. One, it forces him to stand. If I get the special attack boost, if I don't get it, it puts me in a bind. Yeah, it puts me in a bind because now I gets to go to Tinglu. If I got the special attack boost, I could Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam and he'd be finished. Now he's not finished and he can Whirlwind and do all these vile things and I lose my booster. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, the luck we've been getting all live, I can't even be mad at it, you know. This is still useful. But I think not getting the special attack boost there, it might cost me the game. I'm not, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We shall see. Cudgel is free. I did not expect Polt. Polt took nothing from that. What the fuck? This must be a what? 36% from a base 120. And he confidently went Polt because I could have just went for Play Rough there. So he must have expected me not to have Play Rough. But the Polt took nothing. Am I tripping or is that like a ridiculously bulky Polt? But yeah, I think I may have lost. We'll see. Yep, I knew it. I was like, that fucking did nothing. Something's off there. I'm actually Terra Dragon Dragonite. The whole life I've been playing with Terra Dragon. So I'm looking at this game. Because I'm thinking, what were what was the counterplay here? You know? So here you sack Tinglu. Or you can hard Dengo, because it's not over. But we'll see. It looks fairly over. But it's not technically. This could be trick. Is it better to see him again? It'd be better to see him again if he is... Well, he doesn't know if I have Encore. I know what I'll do. So what I'll do is Terra Steel, and I'm actually going to Calm Mind again. If he tricks, then so be it. I wasn't gonna knock him out anyway. I'm gonna see him again, and the core reason being, no, I Thunderbolt the first turn. On the off chance that he makes it rain hard, then I can see him the next turn. Because I think he's gonna think I have Encore, for which he won't have. Like, that's one of the reasons why he's very unlikely to sucker with his Gambit. And if I can get him to not sucker with his Gambit, I might be able to pull this off. So T-Bolt makes it rain, right? Does very little. Actually, I might be outside of Sucker Punch range. Calm Mind again. He doesn't need the Golden Go though. The reason I Calm Minded again is because I need, so I'll Calm Mind again. I need Gambit to get one shot. And he's going to go for the attack 100% here. He's got, if it doesn't work, I would have lost anyway. But I needed all those Calm Minds because he went Gambit fast because he's not going to Sucker Punch. Because if well, he could Sucker Punch his first turn, because if I Encore him, then he's finished. So I would Sucker Punch here, because then you could sack him on and then go back. So there's a case for it. But Calm Mind Thunderbolt Encore is very common, so he does Sucker Punch. I think he was shook. If the Gambit, so Gambit here should, I do a go hard pull. He goes hard tingle. I do get the special attack boost this time, which is useful. Gleam does kill, unless the Polt has darts. But I've already lost. The Valiant comes in, maybe the Valiant has Side Shock or something. But either way, it doesn't matter what it has, because the Polt knocks me out from where it's at, which is what he was trying to do as his boost. So it's probably like a bulky Polt or something. Yeah. I guess I could technically sub, but I mean, what difference would it make? Yeah. So we gotta be mindful of bulky Wisp Pults. I wouldn't have gone hard Pult on this play. If I wasn't sub, I would have play roughed. And he would have lost the game right that turn. But maybe he didn't see enough play rough Ogre Pawns. If he misses another Draco, no, I'd rather Ivy Cudgel. Good, that's so U-turn is the other move they run. Useful to know. He always should just attack here. Oh wow, Gambit survived. But yeah, so I think he was a bulky Polt based on how much the Ivy Cudgel did. I'm not 100 on that. In this particular game, I can't say I regret any play, because the Gambit, the moment my Valiant didn't get the booster, it would have been an issue. There are things I could have done that would have won me the game earlier, but the risk versus reward. For example, when I went Dragon out on Clef, I could have Dragon Danced. If I Dragon Danced that turn, he'd have been cooked because he wouldn't have gotten to Ruination and I'd have taken the damage on his Tingaloo. But I didn't want to risk going for him healing the Clefable and it being unaware or something like that. If I had Play Rough, I would have gone to the Watermon because it would have ensured that the Clef couldn't switch. Versus the Goldengo. The reason again I did not go for Infinite, just kill the Goldengo after the Thunderbolt and him doing nothing would make Uranus, because the game would just come in and revenge kill me. Maybe he would have gone to something else, but I doubt it. But a lot of lessons learned there, a lot of good info. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the lives. Hit the like button again. Appreciate y'all, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.